Good morning, my friends, and welcome to Wharton State Forest. Here we are today at Batsto Village, a restored iron community from the 1800s. This town was first established in 1766, and this beautifully restored town is just super cool to check out. We're actually here today to do the 4.1 mile loop, Batsto Lake loop. But the conditions here are so beautiful with the early morning light, some fog on the lake, and I just had to check out this cool town. It just begs to be explored. So, what can I say, guys? Let's go for an adventure. There are several dozen structures here in this amazing place. This really does give you an idea of what it would be like to live in one of these communities a couple hundred years ago. Now, another really cool thing about this area is there's a very large parking area, and you can make many different hikes from here. Going from very short like nature trail hikes to a long distance Batona Trail, which is New Jersey's longest trail, which runs for, I believe, 53 miles. So there's a lot of options here, a lot of things to do. You can definitely make a whole day out of this place. There are just dozens of buildings here. This may be one of the most completely restored of these historic villages that there are anywhere. And as you know, I was at French Creek State Park and Hopewell Furnace National Historic Site last time, and that was cool. But I think I actually like this place better. The only issue is that there's a bit of a highway right next to the community here, and you do get some traffic noise early in the morning here. But it's absolutely awesome. Alright, so like I said, the focus of today is the 4.1 mile loop hike known as the Batsto Lake hike, White Blazes. We'll be walking up along Batsto Lake and then hooking onto the long range Batona Trail. And maybe when we get back to the village area here, we'll explore some more, but there's just so much to see here. It's a little overwhelming, actually. So this hike here starts out on this nice sandy road, and these types of roads are common in the region, but it's gonna make a left turn here and we're gonna begin following the lake on this trail. I absolutely adore hiking in the pine lands here. It's truly one of my favorite places to be. It's just a unique environment with all the wetland areas and the specific types of trees and plants. And we are now getting towards the end of fall, but the entire understory and ground level of ferns and blueberry and other plants are just on fire with reds and crimson colors. And hopefully I'll be able to show you that when the sunlight filters down to the forest floor. what an absolutely beautiful day for a walk. There's nothing better than starting your morning with a hike and not having any plans or anywhere to be or anything to do, and you can just take your time. It's a great way to start your day. I highly recommend it to you. But there is a slight chance of rain between like 9 and 12, like a 30 to 40% chance. There's a few clouds moving in from the west. I think if anything we might get a sprinkle, but I do have my rain jacket just in case. I always keep that in my pack here. It's getting much quieter now as we're heading deeper into the woods. It's also warming up a good bit too. I already took one layer off. It's always colder in the Pine Barren region than surrounding regions, partly because it's a heavily forested area, partly because it's a low-lying area. It was about 8 degrees cooler here than where I left at my home in southeastern Pennsylvania. We're now coming to this little side trail taking us to the left, and I'm hoping it's going to take us down to the lake one more time. I do recall seeing on the map a designation of a like scenic overlook, so maybe this is it. All right, so I'm not sure if that was supposed to be the scenic spot or not. It probably was. It's not really like an overlook. You get access to the water one more time. And it's kind of like the point here where the Batsto River turns into the Batsto Lake. But we should be bearing to our right pretty soon that way and connecting onto the Batona backpacking trail and returning back to the village. All right, my friends, we've reached the halfway point in the trail today on this beautiful Saturday morning. We'll now be picking up on the Batona Trail, and I'll take a little break here. I was going to make myself a nice cup of coffee, but I was so excited to get out of the car this morning that I forgot my water. Now, I do have a water filter. I could filter water from the lake, but it's a little brackish. I'm not going to do that. I'm sure it would be fine, but it's just a good reminder when you're set to go out on a hike, just double check. Maybe have a little checklist of things that you want to take with you. Maybe in the future I'll do a video on things that you should always carry with you. One of them obviously being water. So, but see you when we get back down on that trail. The Batona Trail here has pink blazes, and this is really classic pines habitat. It's fairly open, with your pitch pines and then your secondary oak species. This is probably the second most famous or well-known trail in New Jersey behind the Appalachian Trail. Of course, as I had already said, it's a backpacking trail. It might be a good trail for a beginner who was just getting into backpacking because there's not really any elevation gain. I would caution against going in the summer because the pines are notorious for ticks and for other biting insects, but late fall, maybe even early winter, would be a good time to spend a night or two or three on this long distance trail. The winds are picking up just a bit and cloud cover is increasing. We may get a few drops here even still. Just past a group of 5 backpackers, all with big smiles on their face, and you know, something about being out in this type of environment, it just makes people happy. But I asked them if they had heard a weather forecast, and they didn't think there was going to be anything, and if it was going to be no big deal. I think that possibly there was a forest fire to our left here, and fire is essential to this ecosystem. It's what perpetuates the growth of these pines and prevents other species from taking over. That and the poor soil conditions, but naturally occurring fires over thousands of years have been essential to this ecosystem. Yeah, I reckon 100% for sure there was a fire through this part. It's obvious. The only question is, was it a natural fire or was it a prescribed burn by the state park system or the state forest system to regenerate the forest here? All right, my friends, that's going to do it for today's hike, the Batsto Lake loop, 4.1 miles, and we did a brief tour of the Batsto Village, which is absolutely fascinating place. I didn't even begin to touch on all the different buildings there are, and if you get there at a reasonable time, not 7 o'clock in the morning, some of the buildings are probably open and you can explore them as well. This was a super fun, interesting trail, easy trail. This would be a great trail for like winter time. I think one of the few trails I would say is like a perfect winter hike or a snow hike. Probably not so great in the summertime, but we just missed the fall colors here, but such is life. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It's essential to help the channel grow to hit that like button. It triggers the YouTube algorithm, hopefully. So thanks again. Thanks a lot, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.